Welcome to the interview. Let's start by having you introduce yourself. So tell me your name, your tag, and where you're from.
Hi, my name is Matthew. My tag is usually r2matt anywhere that there's social media, and I'm from Los Angeles, California.
Are you a student, and if so, what's your year and major?
Yes, I am a second year Berkeley student. My current major is pure math, but I'm considering sociology as well.
Two very different things.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Let's start by talking about how you got started by playing fighting games. Like, what year did you get into fighting games, and what game did you start with?
Back in my middle school years, I want to say around 2016, I was playing Smash Bros. Ultimate with my friends all the time. But I didn't get into, traditional fighting games until probably 6 months. I'm pretty new to the scene, at least in terms of like Street Fighter and Marvel 3, but I do enjoy my time here.
And who did you play in Smash?
Oh, Terry.
Is he like your pipeline into mainstream fighting games?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, I saw the dude at first when I saw the trailer for DLC. I was like, who the hell is that?
Terry, yeah.
But then I started playing him, and I was like, oh man, this guy is really cool. What game is he from? And then that got me into KOF, and here I am now.
So what was the first traditional fighting game you tried?
I dabbled in it a bit back, even before my Smash Bros. Days with Street Fighter 4, Marvel 3, but I didn't really find any opponents. It wasn't until Marvel 3 when I started playing a bit casually with my friends that I started, trying to actively get better in the fighting games.
And then from there, did you end up branching out to... Because, I mean, if you played Terry, then surely you must have tried Fatal Fury or KOF along the line, right?
Oh, yeah. I got KOF 98 on my Switch, and then it wasn't until, I think, September last year, I bought KOF, and I started getting more active in that scene.
Which KOF, 15?
Yeah.
That's funny, because I just interviewed Ryu, and he was talking about how there were no SNK games on the Switch. So I guess he found the one. Yeah. So when you started coming to Berkeley, were you actively playing fighting games at the time?
No, actually. I was mostly like a FPS shooter gamer during my first year here. And it wasn't until last semester when I met the fighting game club that I started being active.
So how did you find the club?
I heard about you guys last semester. Last year. When I was looking at like what sorts of organizations or clubs I wanted to be involved in and be part of the community. But it was a little daunting joining, so I decided to hold off on it until this year.
Was it through, I guess, like the internet, or where did you find out about like our Discord and all that?
The club search that they have online.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. A lot of different avenues for people finding the club. I think you were the first to mention the club search. Yeah, so now that you're in the club, were there any games that you ended up trying that you didn't think you would try before?
KOF. I started first with UMBC 3, then I started getting my ass handed to me.
It's a tough game.
Yeah, so then I tried KOF on one of the PCs that was set up, and I was like, okay, that'll get into 15. Because I already had experience in 98, so I was like, it's not that much of a difference, or like that much of a jump.
Yeah, KOF is pretty legacy.
Yeah.
Who's your team in KOF 15?
Ooh, I'm still kind of building it right now.
Okay.
But for me right now, it's Kula as point, Blue Mary as a mid, and Terry as anchor, of course.
Why Blue Mary and Kula?
Kula, it's mostly because I liked how simple she was, at least like on point, and she's a good battery. She likes building meter on her combos a lot due to her like DP inputs and all that. And then as for Blue Mary, I don't know. It was like that appeal that brought me towards Terry. She had that too. So at first I didn't want to play her because she had like a charge input. And I was like, I don't deal with charge inputs that much. But it was just the one, and it was easy enough to handle. And then I eventually started liking how she was a Vortex character.
Yeah.
So then I decided, you know what, she's gonna be my mid.
Yeah, I also played a bit of Blue Mary in KO15. It's interesting playing a Rushdown character with a charge move. I think that's an unusual archetype, but it's just fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about fighting games that you haven't played but you want to try? Are there any fighting games out there that look really cool to you?
Definitely Street Fighter 6.
Mm-hmm.
I would get the game already, but I don't really have a setup back in my dorm that actually runs it.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm just waiting until I build up like enough money to get myself a PC.
What about Switch 2 though? What about the pre-order?
Like a $500 price tag on that thing?
And you may or may not get one, you know?
Oh my god.
I mean, well, it will be on Switch 2, so I'm hoping that brings in some more casuals. It's always good to grow the scene.
Yeah.
I assume Street Fighter 6, you play Terry?
Oh, I played Terry. Yeah. At least I try him.
Mm.
Yeah.
How do you feel about his adaptation in like Smash and Street Fighter? Do you think he's like faithful to his source material?
Faithfulness? It's kind of hard for me to say since I was introduced to him through these collaborations. Yeah. But from what I've seen from old gameplay of '98 and his newer appearances in 15 and City of the Wolves, I'd say they do a pretty good job. Yeah, in Street Fighter 6, there's a specific move. I think it was called like. It's not burn knuckle. It was like this specific.
Or was it like the two hitting overhead punch?
Right.
Quick burn. Yeah.
And I was like, okay, they made that up for 6, but then I realized later that it was actually in a past KOF game. So it's very neat. So I guess with that, I say they did a really good job adapting and picking up parts from Terry's legacy to put in their games.
And do you have any interest in playing any of the Fatal Fury titles, like Mark of the Wolves or City of the Wolves?
I want to play City of the Wolves. It looks nice. It looks pretty fun. Obviously, Terry.
You're a Ronaldo fan, perhaps?
Ooh, I don't know about Ronaldo. Especially with, like, his allegations and stuff.
Allegations. What about Salvatore?
Salvatore, yeah. He's gonna be in my pocket. When I get the game, pocket. Day one.
I guess, apart from Terry, do you have any other fighting game characters that you play or you really want to play?
Well, I'm a big Shoto guy. So I like Ryu, Ken.
Did you play them in Smash?
I played in Smash Ryu a bit, but not as much since, I don't know, something about him was a little off that didn't click with me until Terry came in. But in Third Strike, back in the previous tournament, I played him for the tournament, and he felt pretty nice.
So, change topics a little bit. You're on the more beginner side. What are some events that you would be interested in that you think would help beginners like yourself get more into fighting games?
Well, I definitely do like these tourneys, where it's just like, I don't know how you guys do it, but y'all just pick a random game out of a hat.
I don't know either.
And then, well, I'm not complaining. I love JoJo, so I'm definitely excited for that tourney coming up. But in terms of what's like possible to bring in new players, it's kind of tough because definitely that legacy skill would discourage people from playing against pros.
Yeah.
But I guess one way to do it would be. I was just thinking about this before, coming into the club. Events where it's like a random character tourney, where you just hit random and see what you get.
Yeah, that's funny because I asked JQ a similar question and he talked about doing like a mystery game. Like they don't tell you what the game is until the night of, and then no one gets any time to practice. I think that'd be pretty funny.
Yeah, that would actually be a really good idea. I like that. Yeah.
All right. Last question is, I ask usually the graduating people like what they plan to do after they graduate, but you're not graduating. So I guess do you have any goals or further plans for fighting games looking to the future?
Well, definitely get a setup that can actually run modern fighting games.
Yeah.
Play more people. And I guess personally for me, try to be more open to learning. At first when I came into the scene, I was very hard-headed with my my skills. I was very accusatory. I was blaming stuff on my controller and on the frame data stuff, and I just realized now that it's not a good look and it's not a good strategy to game better. So I guess definitely for me, I want to look into how I can better myself through the asking other people. Exactly, like, you know, say I get hit with something that seemed unfair to me. I can ask, hey, was that punishable? Could I block that?
Mm-hmm.
You know, just asking questions. I
Yeah,
think.
I think that's a really good mindset for learning. Like, you kind of have to get your ass beat and then ask someone, hey, why'd that happen? And then you end up learning.
It's
Yeah.
part of learning. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for coming. That's the end of the interview.